Face the truth, Eric. You guys are kind of douchebags.
He just called us douchebags, in my mind.
A game I was excited about when it was announced instantly, South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Now I finally got to play it, but more people out there want to know a little bit about what you guys are bringing to the table with this iteration of South Park. What can we expect in The Fractured Butthole?
Okay, in South Park, The Fractured Butthole, you're the new kid, and that means that you're the same kid from the Stick of Truth, and now you're playing superheroes. Your butt is really special. You can use those powers to manipulate time, but also for some superpowers to really make yourself the most powerful, badass superhero that you can. You're assembling all of the boys again to make a new superhero squad. And this time the battles are bigger than they were in Stick, so now you can have 4 people on your side against waves of enemies, or sometimes one big powerful enemy. And really we wanted to refresh South Park because you're still a kid in a small mountain town, but we've added some new locations and some new places for you to explore, so it's all fresh.
Now, you said that your butt is very special. Does that have, how does that affect you trying to be a badass?
With your butt being so special, the things that you can do, we really wanted to make sure it's a visceral experience, so it involves sort of working those analog sticks and the triggers to really kind of get that sphincter and gas control really powerful. And so whether you're sitting on a toilet or you're stopping bad guys or reversing time, we wanted to, feel like your butt's magic.
Is there any way we can get that changed to analog sticks?
Oh man, that's I don't know if I can use that now since you use that.
Please, no. That's a free one. That's why I'm here.
All right, I will. We'll use this video to just send out a message to the team to update all the documentation. I think the first parties will be happy with it too.
There's nothing quite like analog sticks in your video game. So what is it about the superhero element that is going to make it a little bit more exciting to dive into the world of South Park this time around?
Cool. I think as superheroes, superheroes are everywhere in our culture right now. I think that whether you're watching the Avengers movies or kind of Ghostbusters are their own form of superhero, everybody kind of gets this superhero origin story. And so for a lot of people, I think having the boys' origin stories and the way the modern 4th grader might think about playing superheroes, it's just something really relatable to think about, what's your dark backstory? And in this kid's case, it's that his dad and his mom were intimate, and Cartman told him about that. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on your video.
You can say exactly what happened.
Okay.
You saw your dad fuck your mom.
That's right.
It was a terrible experience.
But having all of these different superhero abilities, how is that going to change the way that we experience the gameplay itself? Are we just going to have one superhero and we can focus on that? Are we going to be able to change it up a little bit?
You could definitely change it up. So as you build your superhero, Cartman at first starts you out slow because he's sort of the game master like he was in Stick, but this time it's about superheroes. So he's telling you, okay, I'm going to start you off easy with Brutalist, Speedster, and Blaster, which are, pretty understandable superhero classes, but then you start being able to multi-class and combine those superhero powers together and just keep returning to that backstory and keep crafting your backstory with Cartman. And really, once you have multiple classes, you can mix and match powers, and so then you're a Blaster, Speedster, an Elementalist, Brutalist, and really combining those powers and all of the people you can recruit is really going to affect how you take on a battle tactically.
And speaking of tactical battles, you guys have also made some pretty vast improvements in the combat itself within the game since the last game as well.
Yeah. So now the last game was turn-based. We're still turn-based, but we wanted to keep people immersed in the environments. With a turn-based battle system before, people were having to sort of teleport to a new location and then just fight left side versus right side. Now you fight in the space that you were just exploring, and you move around in that space and try to get into position on your enemies. You're knocking those enemies around, and I think that gives a lot more immediacy to the choices that you're making, but also matters who you bring into the fight with you.
How important is it to get the story right in a game like this? Obviously, there's lots of South Park fans out there. They want an authentic feeling game. The last game felt like I was playing an episode of South Park. How is this going to feel very similar to that?
I think it's going to be very similar to that. I think that getting the story right was a top priority from the beginning. So 2 years ago at this point, when we were meeting with South Park, it was what story do you want to tell? And for them, it was what game should the boys play next? And superheroes, and where do we go from there? What's the experience? And it's never been, you can't say that, you can't do that, you know, the story has to be a certain thing. It's always been, okay, that's funny, that's great, that's what people want, and so that's the story we're going to work toward telling.
And what do you think is one of the coolest things about South Park: The Fractured But Whole that people might not know about?
I think one of my favorite like hidden things within South Park: The Fractured But Whole is probably getting to know the boys that aren't necessarily the marquee characters from the show. I think everybody knows the personalities of Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Eric pretty well, but getting to interact with Super Craig and Wonder Tweak this time, and Captain Diabetes, who's Scott Malkinson, a kid with diabetes, is like those kids appear on the show, but you kind of really get to know them in this game.
You get to know everyone.
Yeah.
In South Park: The Fractured But Whole. I can't wait to figure out who exactly everybody is and what superhero I want to be. As soon as I can get over the fact that my dad fucked my mom.
I get it.
It was so tragic.
Oh, fuck you! Get out of my house! We'll make way more money on our franchise. Go ahead. I bet you don't even get halfway through phase 1 on your franchise, DC Comics. I thought Civil War wasn't supposed to happen until phase 3. Shut up, Super Craig.
Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.